Namaste and welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. The first half is Vinyasa Flow, the second half is Yin and Restorative, so you'll want to grab quite a few props to have around for the second half especially. 2 blocks, a strap, a blanket, a pillow, maybe even a chair, and if you have a cleared wall space for later, you might even be able to practice legs up the wall pose towards the end. And then, of course, we end with a guided 10 minutes meditation. And for today, it's going to be done lying down, part of a body scan with singing bowls. So let's begin. Find a way to sit comfortably. In the past few weeks, we've actually been highlighting different chakras again. It's never redundant to check in with your energy centers because our energy is constantly changing. And the chakra system is yet another angle to look at your well-being and to be more discerning of how you harness, regulate, direct, sustain your own energy. So today I'd like to just do a little check-in through the 7 main chakras. So sit tall in a way that you can feel the breath naturally and easily flow. You might even close your eyes, and if it helps to bring more attention to your body, place a hand at your heart center, a hand at your lower belly. Let's begin with the outermost layer, checking in with whatever sensations you're experiencing in your physical body. And in your breath, observe the qualities of it without changing it, so that you can tune into your energetic state generally. Then observe your mind. Is it feeling busy, calm, steady, scattered? All good information. We don't need to judge anything as good or bad. Thereby tuning into your mental and emotional state. So now bring your awareness to the base of your spine where sits your root energy center. How grounded are you feeling at this moment or today in general? More of self-inquiry. You don't have to answer, of course, necessarily. Just feel into what comes up for you. And then bring your attention to your sacral energy center, just a few inches above it, below your belly button. How have you acknowledged and honored your emotions today or right now? Then bring your awareness to your upper abdomen, mid-back, solar plexus energy center. How have you aligned your actions today to what's most important to you, what you might consider your core values? Bring your awareness to your heart center, towards the middle of your chest. How have you listened to your heart today? And come from a place of love. However that question might resonate with you. Bring your awareness to your throat energy center. How have you communicated your truth in your own way? Bring your attention to your third eye, pineal gland region, your brow center. How have you strengthened your connection to your intuition or inner guidance? And lastly, at the top of your head, your crown energy center. How have you experienced interconnectedness today in any way? Smiled at a stranger, remembered someone you love from a distance. Feeling into the state as a whole of all these various centers. Let's see how we feel at the end after experiencing our yoga practice. So I invite you to think of something you're grateful for. Start by uplifting your vibration a bit. And after offering gratitude, choose something you want to focus on today. Did you notice perhaps a blockage in one of those energy centers, or something feeling a little stuck, or something you want to celebrate? Clarify your intention for your practice. Then bring to mind someone you care about, Maybe it's a group of someone's or it's a cause. And I invite you to offer your efforts to them through this practice today, a way of setting the ego aside and practicing non-attachment. And together, let's open space, creating resonance as a community, chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Slowing your breath down, I invite you to practice Ujjayi Pranayama, a way to regulate your energy, balancing it as you balance the breath evenly in and out through the nose, while creating a soft whisper by gently narrowing the back of your throat. So listen to that rhythm and start to create a smooth in and out breath, long and steady. And let's make our way onto hands and knees, all fours, beginning a slow movement of cat-cow pose or Virasana. As you inhale, glide your chest forward, peel your shoulders behind you and tilt your chest up. As you exhale, contract your abdomen, dropping your head slowly, tuck your tailbone and round your back. Then again, inhale, glide your chest through your upper arms, rolling the shoulders down your back. Exhale, lift your navel towards your spine, tucking your tailbone, rounding the back. Keep going another 3 to 5 cycles on your own, listening to how you're pacing your breath and feeling into synchronizing your body to it. At the end of your next exhalation, lifting your hips high and back, enter downward facing dog. And allow a few breaths there. If you need to pedal out your feet, shake your head, or any other kind of movement your body is asking for. Spread your weight throughout your finger pads and the base of your thumb and index fingers, making sure your index fingers are not at all pointing towards each other. Rotate your triceps towards the ground to spread your shoulder blades wide across your upper back, lifting them as you drop your head. See that your feet are at least hips width apart, parallel to each other. And now let your body be still for one full cycle of breath here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. After you exhale, walk up to the front of your mat, entering standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees any degree so that you can reach the hands behind you to clasp or grab a strap to hold between your hands. Then inhale, lift your chest and stretch your spine forward parallel to the floor. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, completely dropping your skull. Let's stay a few breaths, stretching the arms further away from your lower back to help open up the fronts of your shoulders, and then gently shake and nod your head. Make sure your head is hanging loose, your jaw and tongue are relaxed. And as you bend the elbows slightly, lift the shoulders away from the neck. A couple more breaths here. Pressing down through your feet, inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand in Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead, with a gentle back bend, so you peel the shoulders down and look up. Exhale, join your hands at your sternum and bring to mind again your intention. Maybe say it out loud where you are. Let's flow with that feeling tone of what you're creating. Inhale, arms overhead again, gentle back bend in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge towards your legs. Plant the fingertips. Inhale, step your left knee behind you, kneeling lunge, look up. As you hold your breath, step into your version of plank pose. Exhaling, lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin, sticking your tailbone up, hug the elbows towards your ribs. Inhale, slide all the way to the ground, entering Cobra, Bhujangasana. Relax the shoulders. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back to Downward Dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and drop your shoulders back. Exhale, marry your palms at your heart. One more, second side. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, plant your fingertips, step the right knee back, kneeling lunge, look up. Hold your breath, step to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide to the floor in Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, lift the hips, Downward Dog. Inhale, step right foot beside right thumb. Lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, arms overhead, dropping the shoulders. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Second Sun Salutation Series or Surya Namaskars. Inhale the arms overhead again, create a back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your fingertips on blocks, your shins are the ground. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank, and as you exhale, glide forward. Bend your elbows back to hug your side ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then lower all the way for Cobra or flip the toes from here into Upward Facing Dog as you inhale. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog. This time, be still and tune into 3 deep breaths as you steady your gaze on one spot. When you hear the end of your 3rd exhalation, then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat into a forward fold. There, inhale, press with your hands, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Root down to your feet, inhale, rise up with a back bend in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands together, mountain pose, Padasana. Same flow, one more time. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank to lower or float lightly to Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue your vinyasa, Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, Downward Dog. Be still there, cultivating focus as you rebalance your breath and steady your gaze. When you finish your 3rd exhale, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, gentle back bend. Exhale to your heart. Last Surya Namaskar. Bring the feet together to touch for chair and empty this breath. Bend your knees together to touch. Inhale, sit low in Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, lean forward and fold from your hips. Press with your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank or float to Chaturanga. Continue on your own vinyasa. When you arrive at Downward Dog, keep your hips leveled in height and inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Exhale the foot beside your right thumb, back heel down facing forward. Inhale, rise up to Warrior One. Exhale from plank, finishing your vinyasa. When you arrive at Downward Dog, follow your pace of breath. Hips leveled, inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot beside left thumb, drop the right heel. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower to finish your vinyasa. At Downward Dog, again, pause and recalibrate. Steady your mind on your intention Taking 3 breaths. When you finish the third, walk or lightly jump to the front. Feet together. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees together. Inhale, chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart and step the left foot all the way to the rear of your mat. Drop the heel, entering warrior 2 as you cartwheel the arms. Right away, steady your gaze just past your right hand. Bend your right knee directly on top of your right heel. If you're looking for rigor, bend it towards a 90-degree angle. In contrast, press the outer edge of your left foot into the earth as you straighten the left leg. Rotate your right outer hip underneath your body, aligning the front knee with your front pinky toe, and firm the top of your left thigh bone back, promoting a more upright, neutral pelvis. Virabhadrasana 2. 2 more breaths. Trikonasana, straighten the right leg. Glide your hips towards the rear of your mat and reach way past your right knee, placing the hand on the right side of your right shin, up against the leg on a block of the floor. Let's take the extended version for more lateral stretch. So rotate your left tricep or outer upper arm to face the left wall, then sweep that arm overhead. Feel that long line of energy grounding through the outer edge of your left foot, up your left leg, up the left side of your torso, and out through the left fingertips. Keep lengthening in both directions of that line. Send the shoulders down your back. Press the crease of your right hip towards your left outer foot, and spin your chest slightly to face the sky, steadying your gaze for a few more breaths. Extended triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Gaze at your right foot and walk your right hand 6 inches ahead of it to the right in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Drag your left foot forward, flex it off the ground, and recreate the feeling and shape of triangle pose as you balance on one leg. Optional here to take the variation of standing sideways bow. If you want to give your left quadricep, inner left shoulder a stretch, you can bend the left knee towards your belly to be able to reach hold of the top of your left foot with your left hand. Then as you kick the foot away from you, you pull it towards your glutes at the same time, making sure your left knee does not point upwards towards the ceiling. Instead, it points towards the rear wall as you're rotating the left shoulder back. Whatever variation, listen to 2 to 3 more breaths. If you're bending your left knee, straighten your left leg, keep flexing the foot. Raise your left arm overhead and place that hand beside the right hand at the top of your mat. Hands on blocks or the floor, entering standing splits. Rotate your left outer hip to face the ground, balancing your 2 sitting bones in height. Tack the right hip crease back and inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Now there are a few options here. If you're feeling gung-ho and playing with handstand in your practice, you could try to lightly tap your left leg with your right leg and come back down. Or if you want to play with your balance more, you can walk the hands closer to your right foot. Maybe take hold of the right calf with one or both arms. Though it's called a split, doesn't matter how high you're lifting your left leg, it's more important that you try to square your hips rather than turning out the left hip towards the left wall. Check in with your breathing. And step your left foot to meet the right, forward folds. Press down with both feet. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, hands together in mountain pose. Inhale, bend your knees in chair pose. Exhale, step your right foot to the rear of your mat. Cartwheel the arms into warrior 2. Align left heel to arch of right foot. Maybe bend the left knee 90 degrees. Rotate your left outer hip under you and firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Steadying your gaze, tune into the quality of your breathing. Remember that breath itself is a vehicle for life force energy to circulate. How are you regulating energy through the breath? Let's prepare for triangle pose. Straighten your left leg, glide your hips to the rear wall, left hand forward and down to the left side of the left shin. Rotate your right tricep to face the right wall and reach that arm overhead. Feel the outer edge of your right foot, firm it into the ground. Feel the rebounding lift of energy up the right side of your body out to your right fingertips. Draw both shoulder blades down your back ribs. Spin your chest slightly to face the sky and land your eyes on one point. Utthita Trikonasana. Now gaze at the floor ahead of your left foot and let's walk the left hand 6 inches forward of it to the left, entering half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. As you're stabilizing your balance, decide what variation to take. If you did so on the first side, maybe bend the right knee towards your belly, catch the top of the foot, kick the foot away as you pull it towards you in Ardha Chandra Chapasana. Last couple of breaths, whatever version you're in. If your right knee is bent, straighten your right leg and flex your foot. Raising your right arm, sweep it overhead, placing both hands at the top of your mat, entering standing split. Rotate your right outer hip to face the ground and tack your left hip back as you inhale, stretch your chest forward. Keep lifting your right leg from the inseam as you bow forward. Now you might play with gently tapping your right leg with your left leg, playing with kicking up towards handstand. Or you could walk your hands closer to your left foot. Maybe take hold of the calf with one or both arms. Let's stay a few more breaths exploring. Set your right foot next to your left, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees together. Inhale, chair. Join your hands at your heart. And exhale, begin to twist to your right side, twisting chair pose. As you're rotating your left ribs towards your right wall, tack your left hip back towards the rear of your mat. A way to keep your pelvis still so that you're not rotating the hips, but instead you're rotating your rib cage, stabilizing the lower back. Last couple of breaths here in Parita Utkatasana. Sinking your hips a little lower, inhale back to chair pose. As you rise to stand, backstroke your arms, place your hands on your lower back, fingertips face down like camel pose. Lifting your spine, draw the hips down and coil your chest up. Hug the elbows closer and closer together into a standing back bend. Also a way to open up the hip flexors after those chair poses. Roll your spine upright and listen to your Ujjayi breathing as we enter side 2 in Parita Utkatasana. Bend your knees together. Inhale, chair pose. At your waistline, exhale, begin to twist to your left, breath by breath. Try to keep your hips lower than your heart. Relax the shoulders, lengthen through both ends of your spine and through your crown. broadening your chest. Last couple of breaths. Inhale, center, chair pose. Exhale again, rise, backstroke the arms, place the hands in your lower back, and lift the chest, peel the shoulders back and down. Rolling your spine upright, step your right foot all the way to the rear of your mat. Grab a couple of blocks just in case, and pivot to face the wide width of your mat for wide-legged forward fold. Make sure your feet are parallel to each other. Place the blocks in front of you. Bring your hands to your hips. Drop your shoulders back and inhale, lift your chest. From your hips, exhale, hinge forward, lengthening your spine to feel as though you have a flat back. Place your hands on blocks or the floor. Press into that as you stretch your chest through your upper arms, drawing the shoulders back. Shift your weight forward where you can align your hips with your ankles. If it helps to maintain more of a flat back, bend your knees as much as you need. See if it's available to walk the hands further back and fold deeper. Maybe bending the elbows behind you so that your arms look just like Chaturanga Dandasana arms, parallel to each other, bent at 90 degrees. And if you have Chaturanga arms and the crown of your head is on the floor, thus creating an equilateral triangle base, then you might be ready for tripod headstand as long as you don't have any neck issues. To get into tripod, activate your abdomen and start to tilt your pelvis upside down, either placing your knees on top of your upper arms like you would in crow, or straddling the legs up towards the ceiling to close, bringing the feet together at the top. Whatever form of inversion you're practicing, whether it be wide-legged forward fold or tripod headstand, let's listen to 5 more full breaths. And arriving at Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands forward and lengthen your spine parallel to the ground. Pause and breathe there. Then walk your hands to the front of your mat, pivot to face the front in a lunge, and step back for one last vinyasa or cat-cow, and let's meet in downward facing duck. Being still in downward dog, listen to 3 to 5 more breaths and check in with how your body is feeling, how it's responding to your approach to your vinyasa flow part of your practice. As we now transition to the yin and restorative portion. With single pigeon pose. From downward dog, rotate your right thigh externally or turn it out at the hip and slide the shin in front of your pelvis, coming to sit on the ground with your left leg straight behind you. Place your hands alongside your hips and scissor your right hip back. Bring your left hip forward so that your frontal hip bones are equally facing the front of your mat. If you find there's a gap between your right glute and the ground, fill the gap with any of your props nearby that make it comfortable. If you find your right shin parallels the front edge of your mat, make sure you're flexing your right foot the whole pose to stabilize your knee. From here, choose to either bow forward. You might grab a big pillow and let it catch your torso. If you're seeking to open up the left hip flexor and quadricep, maybe the inner left shoulder a bit more, you could backstroke the left arm and bend the left knee, catching the inner side of the left ankle or foot. Gently bringing it towards you as you tilt your torso forward. So whatever variation you're at, Stay aware of how you're regulating your own nervous system through how you're breathing. Listen to the qualities of your breath. You're going to be here for 2.5 more minutes. Tune into your right hip here. Do you feel any energy moving in that region? Anything shifting that you can observe through your felt sense? Maybe so, maybe not. Listen to a couple more deep breaths where you are before starting to release from the pose. Making your way slowly back to downward facing dog. And there you might pedal out your feet or raise the right leg and give it some movement at the hip to encourage blood flow into the joint. When you're ready from downward dog, turn out your left thigh at the hip and cross the shin in front of your pelvis, sitting on the ground with right leg straight back. Tucking your right toes, frame your hips with your hands and scissor your left hip back. Bring your right hip forward, balancing the two hips. Notice if it's helpful to place a prop under your left glute. If your left shin parallels the front edge of your mat, make sure to keep your left foot flexed. And relax your right toes. And I invite you, if you can, to enter the same version of the pose as you did on the first side. Folding forward, maybe backstroking the right arm to catch the inner ankle. Though the depth may be quite different, taking your time to explore the depth. We'll be here for at least 2.5 more minutes. Long inhalations, clearing, releasing exhalations, keeping the breath flow going. Feel into any shift in sensations surrounding your left hip here, or maybe elsewhere. Listen to a couple last breaths in this posture before easing back to downward facing dog. And when you return to downward, you might pedal out your feet, you might rotate the left leg at the hip. Let's come all the way down to our stomachs, lying face down. Take a block, and if you want to have a pillow to use, place that block to the right side of your skull. Slide your right arm out to the right so the palm is face down alongside your right shoulder. And plant your left hand on the floor beside your left shoulder. Begin to press the ground away with your left hand as you slowly roll over to your right side. Placing the right side of your head onto the block. Draw the right shoulder head down your back, away from your right ear, to open space along the right side of your neck. I'm going to be here for 2 more minutes. So take your time exploring how far back your inner right shoulder wants you to lean. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. More might entail stepping the left foot on the ground behind you, or wrapping the left arm behind you. Maybe even stepping the right foot on the ground as well. The sensations you're experiencing in your body guide you to just the right amount of depth to explore where you're still regulating your ujjayi breathing. And giving your body the opportunity to allow energy to flow through it. Sometimes the blockages in our energy or in our chakras can come from physical actions or physical inactivity, physical patterns of movement or non-movement. Whether we're conscious of those patterns or not. The yoga practice is very telling when there's imbalance. So let whatever is surfacing for you to be aware of be all good information. Finish a couple last breaths where you are. Then begin to roll onto your stomach, taking your time to switch sides. When you arrive on your belly, if you use the block as a pillow, transfer it to the left side of your skull and slide your left arm out to the left, palm face down. Plant your right hand on the floor beside your right shoulder and pressing the ground away with it, begin to roll over onto your left side. Take a moment to draw that left shoulder bone away from your left ear and down your back. And then tune into how your body is communicating its needs to you here. Do you need to lean further back? Do you need to lean less? 2 more minutes. Tune into a couple last breaths where you are before you unravel to your stomach and slide into child's pose. Bringing the inner edges of your feet together to touch. Choose to either bring your knees together or separated. Forehead on the ground or a prop, arms forward or by your sides. Child's pose can be a grounding posture. So you're literally leaning your forehead and resting your heart and really sinking down towards the earth. Take your time finishing a couple last breaths in Balasana, child's pose, before gently rolling your spine upright. And coming up to hands and knees, all fours. Let's prepare for thread the needle, a spinal twist that can also help to release tension along the tops of the shoulders. So come down to hands and knees, but step your knees a couple inches behind your hips as you stack your shoulders over your wrists. Couple of variations. You can keep both knees on the floor and thread the right arm under the left, or you could step the right foot out to the right, which can offer an inner right thigh stretch as well. If you're doing the latter, press the entire sole of the foot on the ground, align the inner arch of your right foot with your left kneecap. Then inhale, raise your right arm towards the sky. Exhale as you thread that arm under your left bent elbow. Lower the right side of your head all the way down. If it doesn't meet the ground, use a pillow or a block or blanket to rest on. Flare your left elbow towards the sky and plant your left fingertips towards the upper left corner of your mat, giving you leverage and stability. Draw the shoulders down your back and try to level the height of your two hips so that, like earlier in twisting chair, you're not twisting at your hips. You're twisting at your waist. And this time, let's count the breaths. See if you can slow down your exhalations slightly longer than your inhalations. Like an inhale would be a 5 count, and an exhale would be a 7 count. Try that for the next 10 breaths on your own. This way of breathing helps to activate the relaxation response of your nervous system.
When you finish about 10 breaths, take your time pressing the ground and lifting your torso up, coming back to hands and knees. And see if we can set up in the same variation of the pose for side 2. If you step the right foot out, step the left foot out, inner arch of the foot aligned with the right knee. Inhale, raise your left arm. Exhale, thread it under your right bent elbow. Press the left side of your head all the way down. Use a prop if needed. Flare your right elbow up. Plant your right fingertips towards the upper right corner of your mat. Draw the shoulder blades down your back, giving your neck space. And try to feel out the height of your hips, leveling them to balance. And again, 5 count in breaths, 7 count out breaths. Let's stay here for 10 more cycles of breath. Take your time to finish at your pace. When you do complete 10 breaths, ease your way back to child's pose, resting for just a few breaths there. Now consider preparing to set your body up in legs up the wall pose. If you have a cleared wall space that's from the floor to about your height of your hips, if you were standing. If you don't have a wall space like that, and I don't, you could either place your legs on top of a couch, a chair, a bed, or a stack of pillows. Just any way of elevating your feet higher than your hips, higher than your heart. You could also grab a block and come into supported shoulder stand. So I ask you to take a supported variation rather than active or traditional shoulder stand in which you're actually engaging muscles to hold yourself up. Let's stick with a yin and restorative tone of not exerting efforts as much as possible. So if you're setting up without a wall, you can follow me here, stack a bunch of pillows, maybe some blocks. Making a little bench here out of the blocks and pillows. And then place your calves on top of that. Come to lie down on your back. If you have another prop that you can place right under your sacrum, you can also elevate that area. So all of that helps to encourage circulation, the blood flow back to the heart through the reproductive and digestive organs, helps to relieve tension in the feet, in the legs, helps to restore the nervous system to a place of calm, so parasympathetic. nervous system is activated, which also enables digestion to function more. So as you're resting, you might place your hands on top of your lower belly. If you are at legs of the wall, so your back is flat on the floor, or you have a block under your sacrum and your glutes are pretty much touching the wall, or maybe just an inch or two away from the wall, so that your legs can completely rest on the wall. Again, you're not exerting effort to be in the position. And then closing your eyes, let the shoulder blades slide further down your back. Then softly turn your head side to side and up and down until you can really feel there's space in the back of your neck, the left and right sides of your neck, and the front of your neck. Then bring your attention to your jaw. Really relax the jaw. Trace it from behind the ears to your chin, your tongue. Notice any expression on your face right now. Is there tension around the forehead or between the eyebrows? Relax that area. Let's take a few last controlled breaths before we completely let go of the breathing as well. So imagine that you could breathe into the crown of your head. So that you're receiving the breath at the crown of your head, crown chakra. And that life force energy is flowing into your body as you take a long inhale, and it moves down the 7 main energy centers to the root at the base of your spine and radiates out to the ends of your limbs. Then as you exhale, any stale energy is released back up to the 7 energy centers and back up and out of the crown. So you're inhaling, gathering, rejuvenating life force energy through the crown, filling up the 7 main energy centers through all ends of your body. And then you're exhaling, slowly imagining that any stale or stuckness, any muck that needs to release energetically or physically, mentally, releases out through the crown again. So try that 3 or so times until you're ready to completely exhale and let go of controlling your breathing. And as you allow your body to just be breathed into, no longer exerting effort in breathing, feel into how your body is responding to the position you've placed it in. If your body feels completely at home here now, if it feels very restful to let the bones become heavier, then stay where you are. But if Shavasana, corpse pose, would be a different posture for you today, then take your time slowly turning over to one side and placing your body in a position very gradually. We can splay out your arms, your legs, and totally be at home in the space, inner and outer space. And we're going to begin our guided body scan for relaxation meditation. And then Shavasana will be after that, which means we'll sit in the silence of it with awareness of the effects. So make any last little adjustments that you may need, that your body may need to feel comfort and ease, and be still.
If it makes sense to you, close your eyes. Noticing where you can most easily detect the natural breath flow into and out of your body. I invite you to land gentle awareness there. At any time your attention goes astray from the breath or from the parts of your body, I'm inviting you to notice. Let that moment of noticing be your opportunity to come back to the breath, back to the body in the present moment, time and time again. As you sense the gentle waves of the breath rising and falling, for the next couple of minutes, with each exhalation, I invite you to allow yourself a deeper layer of relaxation. Ungripping, unraveling, non-doing. As you continue to sense the subtle flow of the breath, I invite you to bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. Simply observe any sensations, anything energetically you feel at the soles of your feet. gaze up each ankle, slowly up each leg, through the calves, through the knees. Simply giving your loving attention to these parts of your body. If any part needs you to stay a little longer with your awareness, feel free to stay. But next, I invite you to feel into the area at the base of your spine, at your pelvic floor. Releasing any judgments, simply opening awareness to sensations there. Taking your time to explore through your mind's eye, up the spine and surrounding it, to your whole pelvic region, your lower belly, lower back, side waist, until on your own time you arrive at the base of your skull. Notice if your internal organs are communicating anything to you. Arriving at the base of your skull, at the top of your neck. Expand your attention through both arms from your shoulders, inner, outer arms, gradually down to your elbows, wrists, fingertips. What's there to notice? Inner landscape of your body. To the crown of your head, shower your loving awareness throughout your skull, your face, the back of your skull, your ears, all the parts of it, your brain. What's the energy like in this section? dropping into silence with open awareness. Let's rest here for the next 5 minutes of Shavasana. Allow your body to rest in stillness here a little longer. And I invite you now to sense the effects of your yoga practice on your physical body, on your natural breathing now, sensing your energetic state, and your mental and emotional state. If you have a safe space to stay longer and have the time to continue resting, please stay where you are. I'll exit quietly. If you'd like to close the practice together, take your time gently moving small parts of your body, waking it up out of Shavasana. Gradually turning over onto your right side and resting your head. And as you feel ready, lifting your body upright into a comfortable seated position, where you might join your hands at your heart, offering gratitude to anything you can offer gratitude for in this moment. And with that, renaming, whether out loud or in your mind, the intention you set for today's practice, keeping it alive and growing within you. And then remember to whom or what you dedicated today's practice to. Who are you sharing the benefits with? And in close, if you'd like to join me, 3 chants of Om. Inhale deeply. Bow in towards your heart center. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.